Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings. Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast from Practical E-Commerce, hosted by entrepreneur Eric Bandholz.
What is going on, Internet? Eric Bandholz back again with another E-Commerce Conversations. I hope all is going well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the table from me, Shazad. What's up, man?
Yo, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We're here at Seller Summit in Fort Lauderdale at Steve Chu's conference. My wife quit her job. He's been on this podcast a couple of times. And I got a familiar face in front of me. Why don't you tell our listeners who the heck you are?
Hey guys, my name is Shazad Chagani. I do industrial equipment supplies in Houston, Texas, and have been running this company for the past 10 years.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting business and a little bit different than what we typically do, because we're typically talking about like mostly pure e-com, but that's a pretty small percentage of your business.
Yeah, it's about 10%, 10 to 15%.
Okay. And your products are like, give our listeners a little bit of scope of like the size of your products, your logistics, because you're doing your 3PL in-house.
Yep.
Well, I guess it's not a 1PL then.
So we, our products range from anywhere from maybe 1 ounce to thousands and thousands of pounds. It really just depends on our customers. We specialize in American products, so we have people from all around the world reach out to us and, ask us for pricing and availability. And then we have our own our inside sales team help us execute our sales.
Yeah, so let's start with the e-com side of things.
Yep.
How many SKUs are you currently dealing with?
So we have about 100,000 SKUs, probably a little bit more than that. So we do a lot of drop shipping from our manufacturers, but we mainly specialize in consumable products, repeat orders, products that have to be repurchased, frequently from our customers.
Okay. I would imagine those are like bearings and...
more like filters, lubrication, things that they have to replace, every 3 months or depending on the hours of the machine.
Is that like the 80-20 rule where like the majority of your sales?
Yep. Pretty much that, and that's where the highest margins are as well.
Okay. And then you just have like a data feed for like all these other manufacturing parts that feed into your store and your inventory, and then...
Yep. And, we'll have the price sheets and then EDI, and mainly our website does drive a lot of traffic to our inside sales rep team when it comes to pricing. Pretty much RFQs, requests for quotes. That's what B2B businesses usually ask for.
Yeah. How is that infrastructure set up on your website's behalf? Is that I assume you're not using Shopify, that you need something a little more robust?
Yeah, so we have a Shopify and a WordPress website, and most of our products actually drive more leads than purchases online. And usually what happens is we have a request for quote section on our website, pretty much all over our pages. And we try to get those leads and try to get those emails so we can send out quotes. So pretty much what happens is our customers, since most of them are B2B, they need a lot of quantities, and that's where we give them the quantity breaks and the discounts.
Yeah. My apologies to any background noise you may be hearing. We're just like out here at the conference, and it looks like the catering table has just moved past us. All right, so you've got 100,000 SKUs.
Yep.
That's just an incredible amount of SKUs. obviously there's got to be automation to that with how it gets posted and serviced. There's no way, in my opinion, someone can comprehend and understand 100,000 different products and what they do and how they do it. So like walk me through how your internal sales team is getting up to speed on all these different products and can develop this comprehension for such a vast array of products.
Yeah, so our inventory right now is controlled with Data FeedWatch and and there's several other, products out there that's very similar, but pretty much what that does is we have a master inventory which connects to our ERP system. So whenever a product's sold or when the lead times changes, Data FeedWatch will change, the lead times on our system and even on Amazon and eBay and Shopify to let the customers know that, the inventory's changed. But what happens is maybe about 95% of our sheets have weights, dims, and the lead times. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to reach out to the manufacturer to confirm those lead times, but we do have a good idea because we sell the same products all the time, what the lead times usually are. So we'll just do like 1 to 2 weeks and then give our customers the pickup address when it comes to where the manufacturer is located and the weights and dims and, their pricing depending on how many quantities they need.
Yeah. With such a specialized product, it's all B2B, correct?
I want to say about 80% B2B.
Okay.
But in this industry, it's usually businesses that are purchasing products like this.
Yeah. Who are you competing with? Is it?
So Grainger and Zoro are like the big dogs. I don't want to say we're competing with them, but we have similar products. It would be Grainger and Zoro where you'd have an idea of the types of products we're selling.
Yeah. Are they like online as well?
Yeah. They're like,
okay.
They got a real sophisticated website.
Okay. And, one of the things we talked about before we hit record was this inside sales team.
Yep.
Walk me through like how you built that program out.
Yeah.
How many, I'll ask you a bunch of questions, but
Sure.
Give me the high level real quick.
Yeah. So, our inside sales team, it's been a long journey. So, we're always improving. But really it comes down to education and them knowing about the product so they don't sound not knowledgeable when it comes to the customers that are asking for quotes. But how it's built is pretty much we use Zendesk and all the leads come through there. We have our own CRM system and our CRM system has all of the price sheets on there and it has the weights and everything. And it also has like how much you should mark up depending on the quantities and depending on the type of customer.
So someone finds your store online, they come in, they say, hey, I'm interested in a RFQ or quote that comes in through Zendesk and ties in. Your CRM is a custom built CRM?
Yes, it's fully custom.
Okay. So you have a custom built CRM. How many sales team members do you have?
Inside sales, we have about 7.
Okay. So you have 7 salespeople and you talked about like you source that talent globally, right?
Yep. So most of our contractors / freelancers, they work full time with us. But when it comes to our sales and expediting team, they're based in Colombia. And I've used LinkedIn Jobs to find them.
Okay. So you're looking for them specifically in Colombia at this point?
Yes, because it's nice to go back to just one country and train everyone on an annual basis. It just makes customer service so much better when it comes to our customers.
So, are they all in the same location? Do they have an office that they work out of, or is everyone working out of home?
They're all working remote. They're in different cities in Colombia, but when I go there and train them, a flight ticket's only like $50, so it's okay to bring everyone together.
Yeah, and then. Are they on the phone or is it all email based?
No, you have to be on the phone to make deals. So usually they're on the phone, they're on emails, they're on WhatsApp. We have a global business, so we have to communicate any way possible.
Yeah. And then how does that kind of I guess one of my thoughts is like just the infrastructure of Colombia. Does it support, regular telephone?
Colombia is like Westernized. I strongly recommend you guys going anytime possible. It's just it's an eye opener, and a lot of the talent we find from Colombia, they usually go to college here, and their English is just awesome. So it doesn't seem like you're talking to someone that's a foreigner when they're on the phone.
Okay, so one of the things you do is first look to see if they went to school in America, or
no, but I do make sure their English is on point because that makes a big difference with our customers and our vendors.
And that's just by hopping on the phone call with them or a Zoom call, or because with AI now, like someone can just
most definitely. So just a little, just a background on how our hiring process is we'll go on LinkedIn Jobs, we'll create a post for Colombia, we'll choose the remote section because it asks you. And I have a link on our job page where it'll take them over to our website. And then they'll fill out a form for us to even take a look at their application. And if I feel like their potential, then I'll jump on a video call with them.
Okay. Now, how do you attract good salespeople? Like that to me is always a job of high churn. And like getting people in there who maybe are more apt to being account managers than salespeople?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think it's based off of experience for me. I've been doing this for so long where I know the right questions to ask depending on the position that they're hiring for, that we're hiring for. So for me, I just kind of know what they're all about, when it comes to sales.
Yeah. Well, how do you scale that up? Because you can't just duplicate yourself.
Yeah. So on our website, when they fill out the app, we ask them several questions.
Okay. What are some of those questions?
Oh, I got to pull up that form. It's been such a long time, but I can't remember.
Are they questions like, how are people going to describe you, or, like looking for signs of extroversion or ability to fight through no?
They're more sales questions, and they're. I wish I could pull it up. Maybe I can pull it up later, but they're all sales questions for sure. So
okay. So would it be like when you hear this objection to a selling process, how do you overcome this objection? Something like that?
Yeah, questions like those.
Okay. And then, or how would you handle, a client saying no? And what are you looking for?
How would I handle a client saying no?
I would assume like a question is probably something like that. So it's like, how would you handle this type of objection?
Yeah, there are about like 5 questions, but on the form itself, it also tells you like how long it took them to fill out the form. And some people just kind of use Chat GPT and it'll say like 1 minute completion.
Okay.
And then I'll see like 15 minutes and 20 minutes. And so we kind of look at that as well.
Okay. So like, are they putting honest effort into it? Oh, that's interesting. And then your hiring process from there, you're hopping on the phone call with them?
Yeah. So one of my administration staff will weed out, all the applicants and then send me what they feel would be good. But also at the same time, I still look through those because I feel like that's one of my roles is to make sure we're hiring the right people.
Yeah. And would you say most of your growth recently, because you've had over 100% growth
yes,
the past year, has been attributed to the sales team?
100%.
Yeah. How would, do you feel like this is only applicable because you're in the B2B space and it's such a technical process? Or do you think there could be use cases for this for maybe like a more traditional B2C brand?
Yes, 100%. Because now I'm not hiring globally, like in different countries. I'm just targeting one country, and it's giving me the opportunity to go and train them annually. And I've trained through Teams, video cams, everything you can think of, but just that one-on-one physical touch, it makes a big difference. And that's where the quality, I feel like, has increased.
What does the training look like? Is it a week long? Is it a couple days?
Yeah, so I'll go for a week. We usually go. The first time I did it, I was like at a WeWorks, and we used a conference room for the whole week. There's several places in Colombia, because Colombia is growing, that you can just get a conference room and just work throughout the weeks. But typically, we just go through daily transactions. I will personally answer phone calls from customers, put it on speaker, and just kind of let the team know how I would handle every situation while I'm there. That way they can actually hear and see themselves how to take over transactions.
Yeah, so you'll get them on the phone and coach them as well. It's
Yep.
not just like whiteboard.
Correct.
And then the other thing I was curious about is like your compensation program for them. As salespeople, are they incentivized?
Yes, 100%. Sales teams, sales personnel's, they're all hungry and they're money driven, and we have a commission structure. How it works is we'll use last year's, this month's numbers and divide it by the sales reps, and make sure that they're hitting those goals. They're all tier based, so there's a low tier where it's a percentage, and then if they hit their stretch goal, then they get the highest tier.
Okay. If you don't mind sharing, do they have a base then? Approximately, what are you doing for
My
that?
sales team does have a base. They get approximately $7 to $8 an hour.
Okay, $7 to $8 an hour, and then if they hit their targets, then what is their total comp going to be around?
Jeez, man, I have guys hitting $2 to $6 grand a month. They're just so good.
Yeah.
So
And that's on top of their base.
That's on top of their base.
Okay. So $2 to $6 grand a month. So they're pulling in, up to 72K in Colombia, which,
That's phenomenal.
yeah. So like, what's the average salary in Colombia going to be?
It's much lower than how much we're paying them, but I feel like my team's part of the family, and I want to make sure if the company's growing, that they're growing.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're sticking around. They're celebrating. Do you find, I've seen like salespeople are not all created equal. So like
Correct.
you always have
Yes.
the ballers. Like, what is it that the ballers do that maybe those who aren't ballers?
They're just on the phone. They're making deals. They're like, I have a guy that's, during my training just recently, we'll be at lunch and he's on his phone checking his email, trying to find new leads that are coming in. So there's some people that are just truly hungry versus others.
Okay. So it's like this drive to do more. I mean, I would imagine if it's based on the leads coming in, there's only so many leads coming in, right? So do they start fighting among each other?
Yes. Well, we do have some ground rules, and we expect everyone to just, follow those ground rules, and it's working out.
What are those rules to avoid conflict?
Yeah, so you can't just work on a lead that comes in or say, hey, I'm assigned to this, but not actually acknowledge the email or reach out to the vendors or even send them a quote. So for an example, if a lead comes in, you got to send the quote to the customer within 10 minutes. Otherwise, another agent should have had that lead.
Okay, so by having so many agents, they're fighting over it, and to claim the lead, you got to respond to it.
Yep.
Okay, that seems fair, but it's a kind of open game to like some, because I would imagine like some people will pass on like smaller deals,
Yes.
and those kind of fall through, or they get picked up by like the new hire, right?
Yeah, most definitely. And then, they have their own established clients too. So, if they build that relationship and that customer repurchases, and it will be their dedicated client.
Okay,
moving
so
forward.
the new ones they fight over, and then once they get a couple sales, it's theirs,
Yeah.
and then they serve that going forward. How long of a leash do you give your sales team before maybe it's not the right opportunity for them?
I mean, it takes 90 days for us to, for someone to learn the whole system. And then after that, it's about 90 days. Then we'll have a talk and either coach them up or coach them out.
Yeah. What kind of thresholds are you giving them? Is it just purely like generating this target and they got to hit the target to keep their job, or?
Yeah, they got to hit their minimum goal, because the thing is our goals are based off of last year, and like the companies are growing. So it's like, if you're not hitting your last year's goal, then we got to have a talk.
Yeah. But I mean, they weren't there last year, right? So they're coming in.
No, but the numbers were there last year. So,
Okay.
We're doing those types of numbers regardless.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I guess I'm really trying to dig in here, because like you have your top dogs
Yep.
who are taking enough,
Yeah.
right? I would say, like, what if the top dogs are doing all of last year's numbers, right? So then how
Yeah.
are you breaking that up where the team's hitting their goals
Yeah.
and their argument is, well,
So there are a couple agents that don't hit their goals, and we just have to coach them, because I do see their drive. But there's been a couple that we just have to let go. So,
yeah.
but it does take typically 90 days for them to learn everything. And these are inbound leads that are coming in. It's not like they're cold calling and trying to close a deal. These are customers that are actually wanting product.
Yeah. All right. So let's segue into that. Like, how are you generating these leads? How are you getting
Yeah.
people interested? Is there a flow for that?
So our website, right? We have over 100,000 items, and we're into wholesale distribution. So we're not a private label or a manufacturer. So our customers are already at the top of the funnel, and they already know what they want to purchase. So our marketing team just makes sure that that the part numbers and the manufacturers are optimized, for those leads, for our page to rank on those items.
Okay. So you're doing a lot of SEO. A buyer comes to your website. What's your URL for anyone listening?
Yeah, it's pe-energy.com.
Okay. PE Energy with a hyphen in between PE.
Yep.
And then I assume there's like a pop-up of some sort that's like, hey, put in your email and we'll reach out to you, or like, what is that?
So a lot of our customers are foreign. So we have our phone number and our email address on the top right-hand corner, and then a request for quote on each product page. And we give our customers the options on how to contact us. Because some customers, they just don't like filling out a form. So, we give them every option. We also have a chat box.
What does it look like when they call in?
When they call in, we use Ring Central. There's so many other phone apps that you can use, but it'll just prompt them for customer service or inside sales, and someone better pick up that phone.
Is that 24/7 or?
Our guys are working 24/7 because we do have a few guys in the Philippines from 5 years ago, and our sales guys are always working. So, but no, when it comes to phone calls, it's only Houston Central hours from 8 to 10. I mean, 8 to 6.
Okay, so you say you can call between 8 and 6.
Yep.
That's when the team's available to handle inbound. And then you have 7 people. So in theory, it goes through all of them.
Yep.
Or I don't know how it typically rings. Does it ring all of them at the same time?
All the extensions ring.
Okay. And then the first person, it directs them to that.
Yep. And then we also have metrics to see how many, how long they're on the phone and who's picking up the phones, who's answering the chats, because...
Is that all coming through Ring Central, or what's the software you're using for that?
So Ring Central has their own. It has their own data when it comes to phone calls, and then we also have Zendesk. So Zendesk will let us know insights on how many tickets agents are doing and how many chats they're answering.
And then who's acquiring or bringing together all those KPIs and then running the meeting for the leaderboard?
So I have a inside sales lead that helps me do all this, and I just chime into the calls and just put my inputs when I can on the weekly calls.
So what is this inside sales lead doing? Are they motivating their team? They're also in Colombia?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the hype man. He's the motivation. He's giving all the new information because, these vendors have new prices all the time and everything. So all of these are mentioned during the weekly meeting.
Is that person on the calls too? Are they a salesperson as well?
Yes.
And how do they balance that act between management and sales? Like that seems like two different jobs.
Yeah. If anyone on this podcast can let me know how to take care of this guy, I need some tips because that's my issue right now is he's a lead sales. He's closing deals. He's one of our highest paid guys, but then at the same time, now he's having the burden of leading the team as well. So I'm trying to figure out a good compensation plan for him and make it worthwhile,
Well, I mean, that's the hard thing is like, is he better as a salesperson or better as a team lead?
I want to say both.
Yeah.
And he's at that point where he wants to lead as well. But right now it's just not making sense. And I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, walk me through. Why is it not making sense? Like,
yeah. So, he's spending a good 30% of his time trying to coach everyone up and have these weekly calls, but he's not getting paid for it. I'm trying to figure out a way where if the team grows and everyone's hitting their goals, he gets paid for it too. But me as a sales rep and him as a sales rep, I'd rather just do the sales and, and not take over this responsibility. And I'm trying to figure out what that sweet spot is to take care of him.
Yeah. Has he made any offering for what he thinks is fair?
We're talking about it, but we just don't know because there's a lot more in the back end to calculating commission. You have to do a P&L per transaction, and it gets kind of messy. So we're just trying to figure out how we can make it where it's automized, the payouts.
Yeah. So it's more of like, for me, I used to be a salesperson, and then when you go into this like commission-based mode, it becomes very like individualistic mentality. So it's me versus the world, me versus my other salespeople. It's a battleground. We're all trying to win. And it's not a team environment. It's not collaborative. As much as you want to say it is, the reality is it's ruthless. And then it also becomes like salespeople are the greatest at you give them metrics and they will take that to an extreme. So if you don't have balancing metrics, they'll sell the world, for like no margin, because they're going to get paid that way.
Sure.
So I assume like you're doing compensations based on, the bottom line. It sounds like.
Yep, per transaction on profit. So for an example, let's just say they hit their highest tier when it comes to their goal, which is a high goal, but we're hitting that anyways. They'll get paid 15% off of the net of the transaction. Of all their transactions they've made that month. Yeah,
so it rolls up, and it goes retroactive. So it's not like the first 100 orders of the month is at this rate, and then the next 100 is at this rate, and this next. So it's like retroactively, you're bumping everything up 5% or something like that. So it gives them pretty good incentive to hit that next tier.
Because the thing is the commission the commission and the structure is based off of 20% multiple for 5 years. So hopefully within 5 years we grow 100%. So that 0.20% is what they want to hit, for their stretch goal.
Yeah. And how many of your team are hitting that? Is that 1 or 2 or?
I want to say 4 out of 7.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's pretty good then.
Yeah. I'm just grateful that, I found talent over there because, people just want opportunity so bad in these other countries. And for all the listeners, it's a great opportunity for them. And like I said, just try to go out there and train them and see them in person, because that makes a big difference when it comes to the relationship and the quality of transactions.
From an employee standpoint, they're not technically employees, right? Because they're in a different
they're contractors.
Contractors.
Yep.
And then you just send them like PayPal.
Yeah, so we use TransferWise, and then for the TransferWise, unfortunately, for like the Philippines and other countries, they don't charge a percentage, but for Colombia, it's like 3%. So for our main sales reps that are hitting their goals every month, we pay them once through our Amex bank account.
Okay. And then when do you know to hire new sales reps? Is it when you just can't handle the volume coming in, or?
Yeah, I look at the leads, and if our customers aren't being taken care of, then I'll take initiative to make sure I'm trying to find more talent. But at the same time, on LinkedIn Jobs, I have that ad rolling 24/7. I don't put it for like $30 an hour. It's more like the budget of $4 an hour. $4 a day. So I'll just because LinkedIn, they will advertise your job post. So they suggest for you to use like $30 a day, but $5 a day is just good enough.
Okay.
And if a good lead comes in, or a good candidate comes in, I'll take a look and get them on board.
Okay. Do your inside sales reps also need to handle customer service, or does that get filtered to somebody else? Because you're doing a lot of drop shipping, which I imagine a lot's out of your control.
Sure. So our expediting team takes care of all the order handling, but in this industry, you have to be a sales rep and help with customer service, because then our customers won't come back to us. So it's both.
Yeah, so they've got a little bit of a burden, kind of managing things. Do they learn like which manufacturers are better at?
Yes. So that's where our CRM system has helped us actually grow. So maybe that was a big reason too. But our CRM system has a lot of information on there, but it does take experience and time for them to catch on, because there's just so many moving items, and we have a lot of manufacturers we deal with.
You talked about how you built your CRM. What was that based on? What was the underlying software technology?
Yeah. So 10 years ago, QuickBooks was kind of like the ideal way of having an ERP system. I would strongly recommend anyone starting off to get on the cloud, but we use QuickBooks Desktop, and I've tried Salesforce, HubSpot, and nothing connected the way Method CRM connects with our QuickBooks, but Method is only for QuickBooks. So that's what shares all the data and all the pricing.
Okay. And then your ERP is
QuickBooks Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had like an ERP solution.
Yeah, they have. It's the enterprise version does all of that. So.
Yeah. Where can people follow you or reach out to you?
Yeah. You can always reach out to me at info@pe-energy.com. I'm always on my emails. So if you have any questions or any tips, let's talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're looking to build connections with people building 8-figure businesses and up.
I'm always ready to connect with anyone that can grow with me, and I can grow with them. So.
And you're not on X?
I am, but I don't really check it.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, this has been another e-commerce conversations. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Learned a thing or two about a different business model that I find quite interesting and quite remarkable, actually. It's impressive what you've been able to build.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. And keep on growing.